with the MMA Breez. We got Richie Lewis back at it, connecting here right before his second MMA fight at TitanFC. How you feeling, man? Has a weight cut started, or are you just kind of gearing up for that next week? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, getting the water load going. About to have my first gallon down. So
Good deal, man. I know. Speaking of the shirts, real quick, I know they seem to be taking off. They're pretty popular. I mean, my buddy bought me this. He got himself one. How's business going?
business is booming. I just kind of started booming over the past 6 to 8 months. We've kind of gone from a real like low key friends and family brand to more of like a known brand. And we're continuing to build that platform and continuing to build our presence and our name and our brand in general. And we got some key partnerships coming up with some UFC fighters and a couple of NCAA champions since they just had their NIL. Maybe a Penn State guy. Wink, wink. We're gonna have a pretty big name come on board and do some stuff with us, and we'll announce over the next week or two.
No, that sounds great, man. I saw Mike Perry was rocking it. I mean, it's like you said, it's kind of taken off now. It's not just a local thing, but also to your credit, this quality is phenomenal, man. Hugs my chest good. It's breathable. So y'all are doing it right. You're not half-assing it, and I love it. But
Well,
yeah,
it took us like 3 years to get it right, though. We had to go through like in the beginning we had to just screen print, and then it was okay, let's DTG print, and then it's like, but we don't want it to be on next level. We want our own tags. Now we have to try different manufacturers in Pakistan and Colombia and Dominican Republic. Who can do the best sublimations? Who can do the best cut and sew? Who has the best cloth for the best prices? So it's just been like a huge. It's been really hard, but I'm grateful for the journey that we had, and now that we have the right manufacturers and right partnerships, we're able to really tie the athletic and the fashion together, which I think a lot of people aren't doing well. I don't think anyone's really doing it well besides like Lululemon. They're kind of like niche.
yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. Y'all are putting everything into it with the quality and the branding. I mean, just to get a better look at this, we got the blend into the pink, the Miami Vice swag. That's the whole thing I'm about with my brand. So I love the blue and pink. But y'all come out with a lot of fresh stuff. And I mean, it's just that whole Miami drip. I mean, right now what you're rocking is fresh, the cheetah print. I mean, how does Miami in general, being around this South Florida vibe play to your mental? I mean, you guys got a great vibe in that gym, great colors. I imagine it's got to do a lot for just the mental and the attitude day to day.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. We got mangoes, sunshine, beautiful women, nice pools. Check this out. Like this is the view of my girl's crib, just on the balcony.
Jeez. Yeah, I love some palm trees, man. I see some of that.
It's like you see the palm trees, and then like you go a little deeper, and you got farms and stuff down in the Redlands, and that's kind of what I'm into too, hunting. I feel like Florida really low taxes. Florida really has everything you need, specifically Miami. I feel like Miami's like a better version of New York City. It's like the new New York City.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, with it was always a big like combat sports spot, but I feel like especially with the celebrity boxing and everything going on, all the big names coming to South Florida, you have some of the most stacked gyms there between Goat Shed, American Top Team, Sanford, you name it. So it's definitely a hot spot. And, that's something I want to talk about is just the Goat Shed in general. Before I dive in, I'm going to use that to talk about your next guy. But, the Goat Shed is just such a popular gym, man. It's really gotten a lot of publicity this last, I'd say, couple years, but even more so this last like year to 8 months. I mean, Logan Paul made a stop by there, preparing for his bout with Floyd Mayweather, and your next opponent made a stop by there. Why are people coming to Goat Shed? What is so special about it?
I mean, I feel like first of all, it's the energy, right? So if someone like Logan wants to come there, it's for the energy and it's for the vibes, because it's at that point it's not about money or like what someone can do for you. It's more about how they can make you feel. And then the people that do come for money, like this kid Ernesto, he just wanted to get clout. They get contracts to get beat the fuck up by belts.
What happened with that? Like, was that his first time to Goat Shed? Had he been there before? Did you know of him?
I guess he was gonna he signed with First Round Management, so they like flew him down, and they're flying down bump prospects first of all. So that was like sketch number one for me. And then They flew him down, and he had a couple friends at the goat shed that he grew up with in Cuba. He's real good friends with one of our prospects, Sean Mora, and he's kind of friends with Daron and Yahanzi, but not as close as with Sean. And they're like, "Yo, this kid's a prospect. He's 4-0 amateur, 2-0 pro, 4 knockouts. He wants to come here and train or whatever." So my coach was like, "Okay, you know, if he's like family to you guys or friends to you guys, you know, like he can come here. We welcome with open arms, because at our gym we have a really big family environment, you know, and in order to, you don't just like come to our gym and say you're going to train there. It's kind of like you got to get accepted by all the members, come for a month, 2 months, and then like we like you, then we can work on everything. If we don't, then you just don't fit with the group, you know. It's more that vibe and that energy than anything else. And it was my first day in camp. I just had a date, August 6th, to fight. Lex was like, "Yeah, August 6th, we're gonna fight you." So I was like, "All right." Still looking for an opponent, but I'm back in camp, and I'm supposed to spar Landry Ward. He's 4-0 pro. He's currently fighting Combate, so I'm getting ready to spar him. And then my coach was like, "Oh, Richie, you're gonna go with this kid Ernesto today." I'm like, "Oh, okay, if that's what you want, coach." And I knew he wanted to. It was my first day back in camp, so I knew he kind of wanted to test me, maybe even to see if like to see where I am, but also to be like, if I don't fuck this kid up, like to be like, "Yo, look, you got work to do." You understand? So it was a double-edged sword for my coach. He was like, either way that this goes, it looks good. The prospect that wants to come here sees that he ain't as good as he thinks it is. And if the prospect beat me in sparring, he'd be like, "All right, Richie, you got to get back to work, dog, and get back on your horse," you know?
Yeah.
After the
Double
two
sword.
rounds, after the two, it is both beneficial for him. So I knew it right away. So I come in, and you know me, I'm super respectful, especially when sparring. I care a lot about brain damage. Like I don't want to get hit too much, you know. I'm not scared of hit, but I'm not going to get hit extra. And so I just touched him up, you know, not really swinging on him. Took him down like 8 or 9 times, and just really outclassed him. You know, the kid did have a little bit of power, but we weren't supposed to throw with power, so I wasn't throwing with power. But I mean, I won 10-9, 10-8 rounds, and then it got heated to the point he was mad and swinging hard, and I was kind of just moving, taking him down. And then the last minute, I was like, "Bro, this kid's swinging hard on me. Fuck it." I'll throw a couple of knees at him and hit a little ground and pound on him. Then my coach cut the sparring, and then I tried to help the kid up, and he was like all mad and shit. Me, I just chalked it up to ego, and I was like, "Okay, it's not a big deal." 30 minutes later, I'm trying to have a conversation with him, like, "Yo, look, man, I've only been fighting for 9 months now, or 8 months, and look at how much I've developed, you know. Guys fight years to train for years to fight like this, you know. Obviously, I had a good wrestling background, but I'm not even talking about the wrestling. I'm talking about the jiu-jitsu, the MMA, the grappling, the boxing, the feel, the distance." And I'm like, "This is what we do at the Goat Chip. We develop faster than anybody else. Like, and if you're gonna come here, let's do it, man. Like, I think you'll be a good workout partner for the team," and blah blah blah. And he was just like just ignoring me,
Oh,
not
hate that.
So he was still upset. So I was like, "Okay, it's whatever." You know, didn't say nothing. The next day I shot a TV shoot, and the dude just reeked of jealousy. I was shooting for WSP Network with Diego Rivera, and he just was reeking of jealousy, man. And you could smell it on him. And he goes back to Extreme Couture, and I guess one of our matchmakers didn't know whether he was coming to our gym or not, and said, "Hey, these are the guys that we have." I was number one on the list to get a fight, obviously, because we were 5 weeks away at the time. He was like, "Yeah, I'll fight him." So then my coach was like, hit him up, was like, "Yo, man, you actually join our team, and we don't want to like start any drama, but we want to make sure that you're the one who said you wanted this fight, because then you can't join our team, essentially, you know."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'll fight anybody if the money's right, blah blah blah." And it's like, come on, you talking about money in the regional scene, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yo, no, like this is nothing to do with money. So I mean, that's very odd to me that he would say something like that. It seems like he was masking his ulterior motive to get in there with you. But that's something I wanted to ask too, is like, how did it end? So you gave us some great insight. Like he kind of did leave a little bit butthurt, you're saying, huh?
He left butthurt as fuck, bro. And obviously he has to have some confidence that he can beat me, because if he has his pride making these decisions for him, and his ego is her ego making these decisions for him, he's gonna have a rough night on Friday. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah. And from the wrestling world, you make it to a big tournament, you got some momentum, you're having a good season. And then you take a humbling loss every now and then. And I feel like he maybe, being undefeated, maybe he just hasn't been humbled yet. Maybe losing to you, if that goes that way, I don't want to be biased, but hey, if maybe losing to you will give him some perspective, So I mean, like going against someone in not just perspective in fighting, but also in this kind of a not a great look to be going into a gym, working with some guys, and then coming
Correct.
back out and asking
It's
for
a
that.
snake. He's a
Yeah,
rat. He's a rat
no,
bastard.
not a good look. I
And that,
honestly, go ahead.
like, that's the one thing is that I hold high is people's characters. The way I conduct myself and the way I do business and the way that I fight is character first. And just by seeing that his character, I know that he's not nearly as intelligent as me. So I know that come Friday night, I'm going to be able to outsmart him. I know even if this kid does train harder than me, you can't work that much harder than I am smarter, brother. So like, I don't see this kid having a fucking chance, to be honest.
And when you went with him, like I tried to get a scoop on him and look at his record and his Instagram, and from what I could see is he's got a ton of pictures of him picking dudes up, putting them down, and or getting on top of them and pounding them out that way. It seems to be all his content on his Instagram is looks like that. But when we saw the footage of you guys going, it was kind of like he was getting all that on him. So I mean, to you said he has some knockouts, he's undefeated. What is this guy's strong suit if he's going against you? What is he banking on? You're a world champion wrestler. It doesn't seem like that would be a smart move. Does he just go for a puncher's chance with the power? Or?
I mean, the kid definitely had some power. He hit me with, I would say in the entire sparring around 3 or 4 uh, strikes, and the kid didn't have power, but he didn't have enough power to daze me, or enough power to definitely not enough power to put my lights out. Just enough power for me to respect him,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's kind of what he's going to be banking on. But what you don't know is my cardio is retarded stupid, and I always stay in good position. And I'm not one of these Justin Gaethje characters where I'm looking to go in and brawl guys. I'm more on that like Khabib and GSP where I don't want to get hit. If you hit me, I have a hard chin, and it's hard to take my lights out, and I could eat a punch, and I have heart, so I could keep going. But I'm not looking to get into a firefight. I'm looking to keep distance,
Mm-hmm.
touch you the fuck up, get you tired, take you down, take you to deep waters, and drown you. And that's exactly what I'm going to do August 6th on Friday night.
And that's obviously your strong suit. I have a lot of confidence in your grappling in any MMA match, but like how do you combat the whole stereotype of grapplers? And like you have big visions to go to the UFC, to be world champion, to keep growing. But how are you going to get promotions to look at you? I mean, Ben Askren got denied by Dana White forever because of his style. What are you going to do to keep yourself exciting and marketable for these big organizations who tend to stereotype grapplers?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is win exciting fights. So I'm gonna have to start looking, not for specifically finishes, but just for lights out performances where my technique is slick and my technique is clean, and I'm in that mix, right? That's the first step. Obviously, I have to keep winning. The interesting factor, I don't think is going to be an issue for me, uh, because I think I'm interesting as fuck. I also think that a lot of these fighters are fucking broke, and I'm coming into this game like with an established business, with investments. So I'm gonna be able to do a lot cooler shit. And I have a team behind me like Paradigm, my business partner Jerry. Is, I have guys filming me. It's I just think it's gonna be different, because even if my fights aren't exciting, I think I'm a pretty exciting guy.
And that's half the battle, man, right? I mean, we saw Connor when he was coming up, he had cameras following him all the time. And Jake Paul, like, he got a lot of criticism for not being a great fighter. But when you got cameras following you around all the time, people care about you. They want to see what's going on. So I think you're making obviously a ton of great investments in yourself and your wealth and your career. So it's very exciting to see. But
I also think that I'm authentically myself, and that's a very important part. I don't put on a front. I'm from New Jersey. I grew up in the Jersey Shore. I live in fucking Miami. This is what I wear. I just came to my girlfriend's house to hang out. I honestly forgot I had an interview. I'm wearing this laying on the couch.
Oh yeah.
I'm authentically true to myself, and I really know who I am. And I think that a lot of these fighters don't know who they are, and that's part of the reason that they fight. Uh, and that's part of the reason why I got into combat sports, because I didn't know who I was. But I'm at a point in my life where I just turned 27 years old. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly who I am, and it's just time to show that to the world.
Absolutely. So what I know last time you and I hopped on here and chopped it up, we were talking about a couple fights, get a title shot here with TitanFC, and then look for the big leagues, look for the UFC. How does that vision look at this point? And is it still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same, man. I think that this fight is a very good fight for me, and it's a very well timed fight in my career, my development. I think I've gotten a lot better. I think I'm stronger than this kid in his strong suits, so I think I'm gonna be able to put on a true display of my talent. I think that first fight I was able to put on. I was a grappler, jiu-jitsu and wrestler uh, that trained for the fight. I feel like this fight, I'm gonna be a complete fighter, an all-around fighter. I think before, yeah, I was ready to strike, I was ready to do a couple things, but I wasn't really ready to put it all together. And I think this fight I'm gonna be able to. Also, obviously, I want to go to the UFC, and that's the main vision, right? But I also have dreams of being an entertainer. I'm an entertainer and a fighter, so like I like this whole boxing thing with the YouTubers, and like if I could continue to develop myself and develop my businesses and stuff like that, that's a route that I'm definitely interested in. Obviously, becoming a world champion is number one, but I'm not against super fights in jiu-jitsu, super fights in wrestling, boxing matches, uh, being in different promotions for fighting and stuff like that. But I still have to stay true to what I ultimately want, and that's to become a UFC world champion.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're excited to see that. As far as the celebrity boxing route goes, or celebrity grappling, has there been any people in front of your face that you thought about? Hey, that would be a fun one.
I don't think I'm a big enough name yet to be able to draw anyone that's currently fighting that I would fight. So it's just about putting the ducks in order first.
Yeah,
Putting
building
all
the
my
stock for sure, for sure.
rebuilding the stock and just sticking true, winning this fight on Friday.
hmm
Uh, Even as little as making weight and creating the right content, and then winning the fight. Like it's not like I'm thinking just about Friday. I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about getting this gallon in. That
hmm
that's that works towards my goal. You know what I mean? Doing this interview, that's gonna work towards my goal. And just doing all the little things correct in this moment to make that bigger picture work.
For sure, for sure. And I love it. I love the ambition and the initiative that you've taken from the jump, all encompassing perspective, which is awesome. But as far as the weight cut goes, like you talked about, making weight's always a small victory. How does 155 feel to you these days? You just turned 27. How's the body right now? Do you feel that you are intrigued to test out any other weight classes, whether it be up or down?
Yeah, for sure. So this is the best my body has ever been. I actually didn't weightlift when I was in college that often, and I didn't really do a lot of like the runs just because like I didn't believe in it. My body was very beat up because we were competing on like a different schedule. We'd compete twice a week. I wrestled in the worlds 5 matches in a row, wrestled to make the world team trials 5 matches in a row, and then went straight into my season after that, and then straight into the freestyle circuit. This is more where I fought 5 months ago, and I'm fighting again. So I'm able to really hone in and focus on my development, not only in my striking and my grappling and my MMA, but also on my body, what I'm putting into it, what I'm dieting, how I'm lifting, how I'm doing my physical therapy. I'm lucky enough to be a very early stage in my career and have the best coaches around me, have a full-time massage therapist, full-time physical therapist. So, I was able to fully invest into this lifestyle. And 8 months ago, I made the decision that I would die and I would give up all my money and whatever it takes. Basically, my mind, my heart, my soul, I give it all to this game. And I made that decision about 8 months ago, and it was the best decision I've ever made because now I feel like I'm able to do anything. As far as entertaining different weight classes, yes, I would like to fight at 3 different weight classes throughout my career. Honestly, 145, 155, and 170. Making 155 is not too hard. I diet for about 6 weeks. I don't really even count my calories. I diet for the last 3 weeks pretty hard. Maybe put in 1,800 to 2,500 calories and just up my cardio. Get to about 170, which is what I woke up at this morning, 7 days out when I start my water load. So it's about a 14-pound cut to weight and about a 15-pound cut to championship weight. And it's not that hard. I mean, I recover perfectly. I luckily I know some guys that have the lock and release diet, so I basically just do their protocol and get down. I think that if I had to make 45, I'd have to go on a 2 or 3 month diet, but that's when money matters. You know, I wouldn't do it for getting paid around $3,000 to $4,000 just to fight with the tickets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth putting my body through for 3, 4 grand. But to when I get to the UFC and we're talking about $24,000 in the beginning, plus bonuses if you do well, and then on the second contract, you know, maybe $100,000. That's when the weight cut becomes worth it to deteriorate my body to do that. You know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you talked about all the stuff that's been changing for you this last camp, how much you've grown, how much you've become an actual fighter, not just a grappler guy. Like, what are you most excited to show us, though? And what is the most fun for you right now in the gym? Because, you know, we gravitate towards things we start excelling at, we're having fun with. What are you most excited to show off in your second pro bout?
I think the consistency. My entire life, I've never been consistent. I've always just been a great athlete and had amazing talent. That's how come I was able to win a U23 world title and then fucked up and didn't even All-American with guys that were winning NCAA championships that couldn't even make the world team, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just the consistency. I was always a party guy, always a wild guy, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It gave me a shit ton of perspective. But the fact that I've done that and I've seen that and lived that life and was able to still compete on a high level, now I'm doing it consistently. So I'm looking to go in there and show that consistency. You know, I knew I could take anyone down in the world. I knew I could technically beat anybody, but it was about not getting tired and keeping my energy. I wasn't able to apply my tactics. And now that my cardio, my strength, and my technique is really at the point I want it to be, I want to show that I can bring guys to deep waters and I could be the guy controlling the fight, not just looking for a sneak takedown or trying to grind something small out. I'm looking to grind this guy down the whole time and really dismantle him and be able to put on a performance. And I'm going to do that through the hard work that I've put in. And I've never had this belief in myself. It's actually kind of crazy because as an athlete, you lie to yourself. You know, sometimes you say, yeah, I'm ready for this. And sometimes you are, and you get those wins against those hard guys. But when you truly believe it, it's a different animal. And I've only felt this a couple of times, and I've been feeling like that every day in the gym recently. So I'm really excited to show that.
Man, that's awesome. We're very excited to hear that, man. We're very excited to watch you. August 6th, tune in. We're going to see Richie Savage. Very excited to see you in your second pro bout here fighting Ernesto in TitanFC. It's almost going to be a rematch because you guys had it out in the gym. So we're excited for that. We're excited to see where you go from there, and we'll be watching all the way, brother. Thank you for taking the time today, and I hope to connect soon.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate your time, dog.